The Social Snippet Show.
Hi everyone, my name is Julia Doherty from Green Umbrella Marketing.
And I'm Christina Robinson, also from Green Umbrella Marketing.
And we're here today, as normal, to give you all the latest news and updates with regards to the online and social media marketing world.
We are
indeed. So actually there's not a lot that's happened in the last week, but we have got some quite new exciting things, some big piece of news that even managed to get onto the BBC.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about that as well.
Yeah.
So do you want to start with the first one?
Yeah, so if you're using Google My Business, then look out for some new features coming in there. So they're quite subtle changes really, but they are ideal for any businesses where you've got, let's say you're a recruiter and you've got multiple branches. Basically what you can do is you can now tell your Google listing to show the fact that you're operating in different areas. So if you've got, like say, a branch for your brand in Oxford and London and Sheffield, you can actually show that on the map, which means that users, when they're doing their Google searches, they've got location switched on, you've got a better chance of appearing in those searches, especially on a mobile device.
Would you still recommend having different Google listings for the individual areas as well, though? Or would you say...
only if you've got more than about 15 sites, then Google's kind of set up for you to be able to do things so that you can do 15 locations under one. But I think this update's going to make a change.
Okay. So again, do you reckon these are elements of Google Plus that are now entering into Google My Business?
Absolutely. So yeah, everything from Google Plus... You know, between now and May, we're going to see all of that coming into Google My Business, which I think is a good thing, but also into Google Maps, which I'm not so confident about.
Okay.
What I'd also say with these changes is expect them to appear on Android devices first rather than iOS.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's things we announced a couple of months ago now. I still can't access on iOS.
No. Well, obviously, Android and Google, match made in heaven, isn't it? Okay, so that's the first one then. So new Google My Business features. Number 2 is Twitter is testing an original tweeter tag. So basically when you're tweeting out, you know when you've got those really long threads and one particular tweet ends up and goes on and on and on forever, you can actually see now there's a little tag underneath that just says original tweeter. I think this is a cracking idea.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. And I think if you know, sometimes someone you follow has got caught up with one particular part of the thread. What I'm hoping is that further through the thread, we're still going to see who the original tweeter was. Because you know what it's like, sometimes you kind of click to see what the conversation was, then you have to click to see another thread. And maybe you're clicking 2 or 3 threads before you actually get to the original tweet that kicked it all off.
Yeah, the other thing as well is I think sometimes other people hijack someone's tweet.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then might have retweeted it and then there's a really long thread on the bottom of that, and the person that gets the kudos for it is the person that retweeted it rather than the original tweeter. So I think that's a really good little tool, you know, just something new. It's these little things that sometimes make a big difference. So.
Do you know how quickly that's rolling out?
No. I see. Isn't it just like now that's on the latest update?
I'm not sure. I
don't know. I have to check on.
I
was going to get my phone out and have a look then, forgetting that I'm recording.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything yet. So, but there was nothing to say it was a test. I don't think. So,
no, it's just said it was
look out
rolling
for
out.
it. If you see it first, let us know.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, and the same with the next one. So the next one is Twitter.com on desktop. We was talking about a new design that was coming. When did we say that originally?
So yeah, it's probably about September, October time. They started beta testing a new desktop version, but that was more kind of like the interface. There wasn't any additional functionality in that. Whereas with this
we've got some new features. So on a desktop, you'll suddenly be able to do some keyboard shortcuts. You'll be able to do some emojis. They've got upgraded trends. I'm not really sure what that means. But like new versions of trends. This is just on desktop only. And advanced search, at the moment you need to know the URL for doing advanced search. In fact, we had someone in our coaching group ask that very question the other day. But with this new desktop version of Twitter that's rolling out, you're going to have it right there and then. So there is a link. I'll put that in the comments below, in the show notes below, so you can actually see for yourself what this new one is, to see what it looks like.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so that's the second one. Third one, is new Twitter.com is coming. Beware!
Okay, so the next thing then, we'll start to talk about WhatsApp. So this is WhatsApp Business. And basically, they are expanding the features that exist within it. Now, I have to be honest and say we don't use WhatsApp Business.
Do you know anyone that does use WhatsApp for
I
business?
don't. I know it's big in the US. Loads of brands. You know, it's working really well from essentially from a networking perspective. But yeah, WhatsApp groups in the UK, I hear more about people joining Slack conversations and that kind of thing than I do WhatsApp groups. Yeah, from a business perspective. So it's interesting, but everything, you know, from a messaging perspective, it goes back to that personalised experience. I think it's one of those things right now. You know, Green Umbrella, we need to start looking at this and, you know, how can we leverage this? Because I think this is where it's going.
Yeah, so it's something we don't do. I don't know if it's a stigma attached. I know a lot of people that are a lot older than me that have WhatsApp because they're not on Facebook, but they find it's a cheap way of communicating.
I kind of think WhatsApp is for people that don't have iMessage. That's where it sits in my head. So I never used WhatsApp until recently, and now, to be honest, it tends to be with people that are overseas more.
Yeah,
So
exactly. That's the only reason I use it, for people that we've met on travels and stuff.
Yeah, or people that are, you know, Android forever.
Those people. Okay, so that's the next one. So there is some new features within WhatsApp for business.
Yeah, I didn't say what the features were, did I? I've just realised.
No, what are the new features?
It's all about categorising who your contacts are and what the chats are about and that kind of thing. So yeah,
management of them.
Yeah, and it's on desktop as well, these features. So if you are using WhatsApp Business, let us know. Give us some tips.
Absolutely.
We'll pretend they're ours and share them.
No, definitely share it. We'll definitely give you some kudos. If you've got any tips with regards to using, you know, WhatsApp for business, bring it on. We want to hear.
Cool.
Okay.
So moving on from the messaging thing, or sort of not moving on from it, sorry, but sort of linking to it. So you probably saw at the end of last week there was an announcement. You know, and there was the New York Times. Yeah, there was the piece in the New York Times. You know, Zuckerberg had done, and basically he talked about the fact that they've started working on integrating Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, and Instagram Messenger as well.
Obviously, they're all owned by Facebook, so this is Facebook keeping their ecosystem and keeping people tied in.
So the idea is that, you know, irrelevant of which of the three you use, you would still be able to talk to and message people that are using the others. So let's say I use WhatsApp and I don't use Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger, and Julia's using Instagram Messenger. We can still have those conversations with each other, even though we're both using different platforms. They've said, you know, the development on this, they're expecting it to roll out from the end of this year or early next year.
So it's ages away.
It's a while away, but it kind of creates a really interesting question, I think, because some people use these different platforms and not others for varying reasons. Some people will be on Instagram because they're anti-Facebook. You know, and they're not aware. They don't have the knowledge that we have. That, you know, essentially they're owned by the same
Facebook
people.
owns it all, yeah.
But yeah, they have their reasons for sticking with Facebook and not using WhatsApp. So there's this whole question about how the data is going to be shared in between the three. I read something over the weekend that was to do with, you know, what are they going to do about the younger users? Because, you know, what's going to happen in terms of minimum ages for using these platforms?
Isn't it all 13?
Well, you know, like I said, there's all this kind of noise around it at the minute where people are going, well, you know, this could be a really fantastic thing, but it's also, you know, how the hell are they going to implement this? You know, do they now need to go out and get permissions again from all the users for all three platforms to say, yes, we'll share the data across the others?
That's a good question.
So there's a whole there's so many elements of debate around this. It's really interesting.
The thing is that it's not Facebook that have developed it. Facebook bought WhatsApp. Facebook bought Instagram. So they've inherited different, from a development point of view, these different platforms.
And this is the thing. We've seen, you know, that the reports are that people haven't taken to this particularly well from an internal perspective. And it kind of explains why some people have chosen, you know, some of the big guys in WhatsApp that were instrumental when it was founded left. well, within the last sort of 3 or 4 months, they left, and there was this whole thing about these 2 people leaving, and you kind of think, well, is it because, you know, WhatsApp is moving away from what it was intended to be to begin with? So, like I said, there's just so much here. What I would say, though, is remember when we were really excited about Facebook jobs coming, and it took, you know, yeah, it's coming, it's rolling out.
We were saying that for a year, weren't we? Before it finally
I think from start to the point where it was mainstream in the UK, you're probably looking at 2-3 years. So even though they're saying end of 2019, early 2020, watch this space. If the ICO get their knickers in the twist, it may not happen at all.
Do you think it's going to be interesting with, do you reckon Facebook, WhatsApp and Instagram will merge to be one platform in like 5 years' time?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, it's all going to be interbred into each other, and this is just the start, I think, of things to come.
Yeah, we'll lose. I think we'll end up with, they'll each have quite a unique user base, and you know, the functionalities that if you want to be able to be part of the groups and sell your whatever's lurking, you know, it's, you know, if you want to be that type of user, then it's going to be Facebook. You know, if you want to do the shopping, kind of like the online social shopping experience, it's going to be more Instagram. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. All I know is we'll be ready for it.
We will. We'll be ready. Okay, right. Tool of the week. Let's talk about quick tool of the week. As you may know, we've been harping on about software such as PicMonkey, Canva, and all the rest of it. But suddenly you're having to start to pay for all these different apps. So there is one on the horizon that we've been looking at. And again, kudos to Social Media Examiner for sharing this on their podcast this week. It's Photo, is it Utils? I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's Photo, UTILS. I assume it means utilities. But it's free. We like free, big fan of free. It's really, really simple to use. It's like a drop and drag type thing. And you can edit things even for stories and stuff like that. So check that out. Again, we'll put some links in the notes below.
Cool.
I think that's us done. Short and sweet this week, but there's no point in wasting your time, and hopefully you found our discussions of value.
Cool. We'll see you all next time.
See you next week. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.